I can't believe I did this. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Day 9 of my Legends push, but this is not a Legends push video, trust me. This is something. I'm sure you've seen by the title and thumbnail. Yeah, I did it. I invested in my Shadow Palkia that I got from Giovanni today. Do I regret it? Not yet, but I might regret it soon. Either way, it was just a bunch of fun to use, and this team was so funny, man. It was so funny. Zygarde, Shadow Palkia, and Shadow Groudon. Shadow Palkia level 50, Shadow Groudon level 50. My Shadow Groudon's a 96 as well. Man, this video is going to be fun. This video is going to be fun. You can see IVs there. Not the worst IVs, but definitely not great IVs. 12, 11, 12. It's a raid IV. Anyway, let's get into the battles. Here's the first match, leading Zygarde into Yveltal. This is a pretty good lead, considering I also have my Shadow Groudon on the back. So I stay in here. Now, you'll see in this first couple battles, I'm not sure how many, I think it's maybe 1 or 2, I'm on Crunch and Earthquake on Zygarde. However, I switch it up to Bulldoze and Outrage for more better coverage. Go for the Crunch. He actually catches the Crunch on a necrozma, which is very interesting. So I come in with my Shadow Groudon. Now, Shadow Groudon with Mudshot, it actually adds up really fast. But, you know, you need to shield up basically everything. They make it to another move, which I was annoyed about, but I let it go because I know I won't faint to it. They send in Ho-Oh and I immediately make a massive error going for Fire Punch and throwing on alignment. However, I do survive, so I make it to this Precipice Blades, and this will actually do a lot of damage to them. They actually elect to shield it. That's really rude. That's pretty funny that they shielded that. So I send in my Palkia right here. Now, I can survive a Sacred Fire, obviously, but I cannot survive a Brave Bird, or it would be very close. I think I'd be very close to fainting. They actually hard switch in the Yveltal, and I realize their Ho-Oh has no energy. So I can come in with my Zygarde and basically just farm them down, force them to throw their energy. I have basically an Aqua Tail on my Palkia, and they're at a move. So, and Palkia beats Yveltal in the CMP tie. So I come in, go for this Aqua Tail, and now the only thing is, can I make it to an Aqua Tail before they make it to their Incinerate? It's a CMP tie. Sorry, before they make it to their Brave Bird. It was a CMP tie. We go for the Aqua Tail, and it knocks out the Ho. I get the screenshot because that was my first victory of the day, I think. First set went 0-5, so it wasn't the best set. Anyway, hopping into the next match, leading Zygarde into necrozma Dusk main. This is a good lead. As you see here, I've gone to Bulldoze and Outrage. I go for the Bulldoze. Does a decent amount of damage. It's not a really good move. I'm just trying it because I need... If they have a Fairy in the lead, I'm core broken. So I usually stay in with Zygarde, absorb all their energy, lower their defense a lot, so I can come in with Groudon and either farm them down a bunch or get switch advantage. They go for the Dark Pulse. I survive that. I get the farm down. They come in with their Primarina, and this is awful. But because it's on Charm, I bring in my Shadow Groudon, as the Charms are adding up a ton, but if it was on Waterfall, then they would destroy Groudon. He actually hard switches in his Kyogre, and I'm like, oh my god, this is perfect. In comes Shadow Palkia. I think for a second, but I end up respecting the shield. They do go for Thunder, so that was a great shield. Now I'm down no shields to 2 from them. But watch this. Aqua Tail number 1 comes through. It's shielded, and I'm like, well, I just want to see how much damage this does. So I go for the Draco Meteor. They no shield it. I come in with Groudon, go for the Fire Punch. They have 1 shield remaining, so they can shield this up. And I have another Fire Punch. Probably should have just gone for the Aqua Tail, but I wanted to see how much damage the Draco Meteor would do, and it did a lot to a double resisted Primarina. Hopping into the next match here, leading Zygarde into Rhyperior. This is a pretty good lead. Not a great lead, but it's not the worst lead in the world. And Rhyperior up energy, destroys Palkia, and actually can do decently into Groudon as well. So I'm okay to stay in here. They go for the Breaking Swipe. They go for Breaking Swipe number 2. And both of them don't get a debuff, so that's very lucky. I go for the Bulldoze, gets them very low, but they make it to their 3rd Breaking Swipe, so I have to give up switch advantage. However, I'll get a small energy head start on my Groudon. Let's see what they throw in here. Ends up being the Zacian, so they're weak in the back to Groudon. I farm up a bunch, let them throw their move. I want to farm up a lot of energy. It is the play rough. I keep farming, go for the Precipice Blades. This will punish a no shield by them. They actually do no shield it. What's in the back? It's a Dialga. And I go for this next Precipice Blades. They get the shield, and they have no shields remaining. Can I make it to the Precipice Blades before they farm down? The answer is yes. They force to throw energy there. I make it to the Precipice Blades, and this will clean one-hit this Dialga. I don't even have to show them my Shadow Palkia in the back. So GG's to that opponent. Hopping into the next match here. Zygarde into Primarina. Now, this is a very terrible leader, as I am core broken, basically. But that's the whole point of this team. It's not a climbing team. This team is not meant to get me to Legend. I'm just having a bunch of fun. I go for the Bulldoze and get the defense drop. They throw their energy here. I'm hoping it's actually Disarming Voice, and I actually survive it, so I do make it to the next Bulldoze, which is actually very handy because this will do a lot of damage to them. Get them in range where I can kind of farm down with Groudon. They actually hard switch in their Kyogre, and I'm over the moon, as I can come in with Palkia here, shield up what should be a Thunder. Even if it's a bait, it's okay. They actually go for the Thunder, so good job on them. And I get the full farm down. And I want to show here, go for Aqua Tail number 1 on this other Primarina. They shield it. Aqua Tail number 2. Let's see what they do. They shield that as well. I come in with Groudon to get an aggressive farm down. They come in with Yveltal. Now, usually this isn't a great matchup. However, I'm up a shield, and I have a small energy head start too. So Fire Punch number 1 comes through. That does a decent amount of damage. Fire Punch number 2 comes through. They're in range of Fire Punch number 3. And they go for the CMP tie there. They should have thrown early, but they didn't. So I go for the Fire Punch. In comes Primarina. And I come in with Palkia. And I have an Aqua Tail loaded, but I thought may as well go for the Dragon Breath to KO them there. So GG's to that opponent. All right, leading into the next match, leading Zygarde into Kyogre. This is a decent lead. I've got 2 good answers to Kyogre. Palkia, the hard answer, and Zygarde in the lead. I don't want to switch into Palkia, so I just stay in with my Zygarde. A lot of the time, it's usually like Kyogre and Double Fairy in the back. But they actually have Dialga in the back, and they actually catch this Outrage, which is very good job on them. But that actually does quite a lot of damage. I can come in with Groudon here and get a massive farm. I throw the Fire Punch here because I thought it would KO. If it doesn't, but they don't throw their energy. I don't know if they had an Iron Head. I'm not 100% sure. Get the farm down there. They can come back in with Kyogre, and it will put me quite low. I will shield up this move. However, I'm able to farm up a bit and go for the Fire Punch here. Now, this will KO them or get a shield, more than likely KO them. And what do they have in the back? It's a Yveltal. Now, because I have more energy, I can make it to a second Fire Punch. If they no-shield this, my win con is to come in with Shadow Palkia and farm them all the way down. All the way. I shield their Oblivion Wing. I keep farming, and they get KO'd. So, GG's to that opponent. That's one of the things about Shadow Palkia. He does so much damage with the Dragon Breath. It's quite insane. All right, hopping into this match here, Zygarde into Rhyperior. Not a terrible lead. They actually safe swap into their Dragonite, and I decide to stay in to absorb their energy because Palkia wants nothing to do with Dragonite's energy, and Groudon wants nothing to do with Dragonite in general. Come in with Palkia, get the farm down. If they send back in their Rhyperior, they get destroyed. They actually send their Florges, and this is pretty troubling. I still have my Groudon. They no-shield the Aqua Tail, and that was actually CMP tie. I was very upset there because I overtapped. I was pretty sure I lagged and overtapped, which is unfortunate. Come my Groudon, and they just hard switch into Rhyperior. But because I stayed in with my my Zygarde earlier, the switch locks are misaligned. Probably should have I should have hard switched into my Zygarde, but I didn't there. But I switch in Zygarde here, absorb the Breaking Swipe, get this Bulldoze off, see how much damage this does. Not a lot. They actually come in with Florges, and see I'm nowhere near switching into my Groudon, so they can just farm me down, and it's basically GG's, as my Groudon just can't do anything against that much energy on Florges. I have the Fire Punch. I can try and go for the CMP type, even though they have a shield. They actually farm, so they go for that. I just no shield because I know I can survive a Disarming Voice, but there's nothing I can do because they just have a second one. They can use their move, actually switch in Rhyperior, but I'm not in a range where I can farm them down, unfortunately. If I had 2 Fire Punches, I could have won, but I do not have 2 Fire Punches, so GG to that opponent. Very close game. Well, not really. It wasn't the super closest game, but it was a close-ish game. I just want to say my team went 10 wins, 15 losses. I'm showing a lot of wins because those are the fun matches, but a lot of the time I just got hard counted. So, yeah, I just wanted to show the fun battles. Anyway, Ho-Oh into Zygarde. This is a good lead for Zygarde. They actually go for the Sacred Fire and they get a debuff, which is annoying. Go for the Outrage. This will do a decent amount of damage to them. They no-shield. Puts them well under half. That actually puts them in range of Precipice Blades from Groudon, and if you get a few more Dragon Tails with Zygarde, 5-punch range. They safe swap their Zacian. I send in my Groudon. They go for close combat, and they have a second one. I decide to no-shield. Now, their defense is mega debuffed, so I can just farm up as much as possible, go for the Fire Punch, see what they elect to do. Do they elect to no-shield it? They actually shield it, which I was very surprised at because they're double debuffed. So now just make this next Fire Punch. This KOs them. They come in with Ho-Oh. I use one Mod Shot and switch into Zygarde to absorb this Ho-Oh's energy. It is a Brave Bird. They have a Dialga in the back. I go for Bulldoze. It'd be nice if this could get a defense drop or a shield, and actually gets a shield. If that didn't get a shield, I could have lost this game, I think. But because it got the shield, I'm barely able to make it to this Precipice Blades. KO them. They come in, they get a farm down. They're thinking the only way I lose is if it's Palkia, and it's a Shadow Palkia. So GG's to that opponent. All right, here's our next match. Zygarde into Yveltal. This is a good lead, as I said before, especially now that I'm on Outrage. It's a lot better. This is what I want to see on the lead, is Yveltal with this team, because I do not want it in the back, unless my Palkia is aligned onto it, but even then it's not great. Go for the Outrage here. They no-shield, that does quite a lot of damage. Now they're in range where I can basically just farm them down. They go for remove, but I can tank that. This is the thing about Zygarde, he's insane. 2 Oblivion Wings, tanked, farm down, leave with energy. What do they send in? They send in a necrozma Dust Main, and I make a dumb mistake and go for Outrage. They actually shield that, so I don't know why they'd shield that, because I don't, like, unless I'm on Outrage and like Earthquake. But anyway, that just sets up Groudon's shield advantage, which is just awesome. They go for the Sunsteel Strike. They send in their Kyogre, and this game's basically over, as I can just send in Palkia and farm them all the way down. I respect their Thunder. I was respecting Thunders the whole day because I wanted as much health on Palkia as possible, especially against a Dust Main. I go for the Aqua Tail just in case they try and CP tie. So I go for Aqua Tail number 1, does a lot of damage. I go for Aqua Tail number 2, and that looked to be a CMP tie, but they actually just backed out because I had way too much energy. So GG's to that opponent. I would have wished I could have thrown more moves in that game, but oh well. Hopping into this match, leading Zygarde into Necrozma Dawnwings. This is a pretty good lead for Zygarde. It would be better if I was on Crunch, but they don't know that. They actually shield the Bulldoze, which is awesome. I'm actually kind of surprised they stay in this matchup, or didn't try to like catch out of the Crunch, or the possible Crunch they could have had. They go for the Moongeist Beam, does a lot of damage. I make it to my next Bulldoze. This will put them quite low, especially after the defense debuff, and I can actually go for these Dragon Tails. I have the shield advantage that I need, so I will no shield, come in with Palkia, get the farm down. Let's see what they bring in. They bring in Dialga. I I switch into my Groudon immediately, as Palkia wants nothing to do with that. Go for the Fire Punch. They elect to no shield, but see how much damage that does. That's not even a stab Fire Punch. It's actually insane. I shield up this move. What is it? Iron Head, of course it is. No reason for them to throw Aurora Time in that situation. I don't want them to get to another one. I was a bit scared. By the way, in these battles, I wasn't counting at all. I wasn't really trying, per se. I was trying, but I wasn't like trying to count every possible move. Bring in Rhyperior. I go for the Precipice Blades, and this game's over, as I can just come in with Palkia, and I just make the Aqua Tail. If they threw their Breaking Swipe, I'd shield it, and Aqua Tail would more or less KO them, even if I got debuffed. Get a screenshot there. So GG's to that opponent. Alrighty. Hopping into this match, leading Zygarde, as always, into Rhyperior. Decent lead, as I said. They immediately switch into their Dialga. Now, for some reason here, I didn't immediately answer with Groudon. I don't know why. I was thinking, I could get a Bulldoze and then farm them all the way down, but that just gives them too much energy. So I have to shield this Iron Head, and then they'll probably make a second one because of that. So I have to go for Fire Punch here. So that was just a misplay on my part. I should just immediately have switched into Groudon. They go down there. I'm down a shield. I have a bit of an energy head start, per se. They actually come in with the Yveltal. I'm down a shield. This is not looking great. However, the good thing is these Fire Punches do a lot. So I go for Fire Punch number 2, switch into Zygarde. They bring him back in their Rhyperior. And this is okay, as I can go for Bulldoze here, start ramping up this damage on this Rhyperior, you actually get the defense drop, which is great because this will offset a potential Breaking Swipe debuff, which they do not get. So they're at -1 defense now, and these Dragon Tails from my Zygarde are adding up. I actually survived the next Breaking Swipe. They do get a debuff, but this is going to be a kind of a neutrally boosted Bulldoze. Gets them very low. Come with Palkia, snipe down, base in the Yveltal, and it's the same situation as it was earlier. Ice Shield, and I can just farm them all the way down. They actually make it to a move, and I was thinking, oh, this could get interesting. Maybe I could lose here. It does a lot of damage. Palkia hangs on. They actually farm me down, but they're not at a move. So I can come in with Groudon and farm them all the way down. GG's to that opponent. Very close game. They did have both their shields, but very close game. Next match. So I got into necrozma Dawn Wings. Another Dawn Wings lead. Go for the Bulldoze. This could be a crunch, so will they respect it? They actually do. I do not get a debuff though. I actually did, sorry, I didn't see the animation there. They go for a move here. It doesn't really matter what it is. Moongeist Beam does a lot. I stay in, go for the Bulldoze. Actually over farm, because if they go for Dark Pulse here, it will not KO. They go for Iron Head, that definitely won't KO. They lagged there, I think, but I farm up one Dragon Tail, go for the Bulldoze, and then I'm able to just farm them down, but they actually switch in their Palkia. So I come in with my Shadow Palkia, I'm up a shield, and look at the damage of my Shadow Palkia compared to their Origin Palkia. It's not a ton better. Shadow Palkia is definitely worse than Origin Palkia, let me just say. You don't have Spatial Rend, and you're a lot less bulky, and you've got a kind of similar damage output, a bit more, but it's it's probably not worth it, but I'm just having fun. I'll go for the Aqua Tail number 2 on this 18, puts them very low. I can come in with Groudon and basically farm them down. Doesn't matter what they throw here, I can no shield. Play rough, I survived that. They come in with their necrozma and try and catch, but it doesn't matter because I can just farm everything down with Groudon. So GG's to that opponent. Hopping into this match, Zygarde into Dialga. Not a great lead, but not a terrible lead per se. I farm up, go for the Bulldoze. See how much damage this does. It won't do a ton, but let's see. Decent amount. They stay in. Now I keep farming. And if they go for an Iron Head here, I can make it to another Bulldoze. So I just elect to no shield. They go for the Royal Time, so they made the correct move there. I come in with my Groudon, and they come in with their Palkia, so I swap in my Palkia. Now the problem here is I'm just basically losing my whole Palkia here. I will be able to farm them down and leave with energy, but as you see here, I try and go for the Aqua Tail, and it gets sniped down by Dialga, so that's very unfortunate. However, it does leave me in a room where I can get a bit of farm, but they make it to a move. So now I'm down 2 shields to 0, so this game is basically over. And they have a Kyogre in the back, so I'm like, well, let's see how much damage a Precipice Blades does if they elect to no-shield it. They actually no-shield it. Look how much damage that does. Can I actually farm them down? I can't. But look how close that was, just because they no-shielded. Anyway, GG's to that opponent. Overall, I had a lot of fun with this team. It was actually ridiculously fun. Even though I only went 10 and 15, it was just such a stupid team. Will I regret powering up this Palkia? Probably, but it's fine. It's for the content, but I was having fun. I already have a level 50, 96 Best Buddy Palkia Origin. I don't really need another one, and if I did, I could get it again one day, just slowly build up the XLs. Either way, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later.